Good morning, students, and welcome. Happy Wednesday. Remember yesterday we started talking about informational text. Today we'll continue to do that. We will be able to recognize characteristics of informational text. Readers use their pre-reading skills to make a decision or an inference about the genre before they begin. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and give you a little life hack on how to find the main idea. So usually, this works pretty well. Next to each paragraph, a reader asks themselves just two simple words. Who or what? Does what? Or did what? So who, or what? Sorry. Who or what did what? So who did what or what did what? We're going to ask ourselves that question after each paragraph. Now we want to stop this share, and I'm going to share my screen with you again. And this is the story that you've been assigned today in Savvas. I'm going to go ahead and read that along with you. Today you'll be reading The Path to Paper Sun. Tomorrow we'll read Louis Cher Kim Paper Sun, but today we're just going to read the short story before it. This one is by Grant Dinn. Remember, readers look for clues or features in the text to make a decision about the genre they're about to read. So not everything is going to just tell you that it's informational text. Usually readers have to infer that. We use text features like graphics. What kind of graphic is this? A photo, of course. It's a real photograph. Do we see anything else in here? Oh, more real photographs. We notice that there are real people, real photographs. We see dates. Notice these dates right here. We also see the names of what probably is a real law. When we see the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, we can probably tell that's probably not a fictional law. That's probably real. We see some more dates up here. So based on some of these text features, including graphics like real photos, the reader can tell that this is informational text. Also, before we begin, readers pre-read and notice vocabulary that might be unfamiliar. In Savvas, they're blue. You can click on them and it will give you the definition. Citizens, for example, is a noun. People who belong to a particular place. You can click here on immigration, the act of moving to a new country to live there, and opportunity. Oh, sorry. An agreeable situation or chance. Getting an opportunity is like getting your chance. Remember that we said readers try to figure out the main idea or central idea after each paragraph. We're going to keep monitoring our thinking and making sure we understand what we read. If we don't, we should go back. We shouldn't just keep going. So let's do paragraphs 1 and 2 together. First, we notice the title, The Path to Paper Sun. We did look at these real photos, and we can tell that this is probably old because it's black and white. That graphic helps us to know around the date that this will take place. Most of the Chinese workers who came to the United States in the mid-1800s were men. Half of them were married with wives and sometimes children who had been left behind in China. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 prohibited Chinese laborers from sending for their families to join them in the United States. But merchants and US citizens were allowed to do so. So each time a member of those groups returned to China for a visit, they often reported the birth of a son or two to the immigration authorities when they came back. The claim created immigration slots, which could be used to bring another Chinese to America. Pretty smart. So we're going to ask ourselves, what are the letters? W, D, W. Who is doing what, or what is doing what? In this case, to me, it would be a little bit easier to do two subjects, two whos, because we found out in this paragraph that one group of people could do something and the other group of people could not. Let's think. Our first group of people, our first who would be Chinese, right? Chinese people, that's our who. What about them? What could they not do? You can reread this. You can pause this video and reread this if you'd like. They could not bring their families to the US. But who could? So let's go ahead and do a second who. But US citizens, US citizens could. Normally there's only one who, which is the subject, and one did what, which will be our predicate. So I'm going to go ahead and I want you to do this too. Click save after that so I can see your annotations. Okay, let's read paragraph 2. In 1906, a major earthquake and fire destroyed much of San Francisco. Below, so we're going to look at that graphic, of course. A fire and an earthquake did this. San Francisco is a city in California, here in the United States. So since I stopped in the middle of a sentence, I'm going to start over. I would never stop in the middle of a sentence and keep going. Readers don't want to do that. In 1906, a major earthquake and fire destroyed much of San Francisco, including the city's Hall of Records. With the city's birth records destroyed, some Chinese saw an opportunity. They claimed that they had been born in San Francisco and they had a wife and so many sons back in China. So again, who is doing what? I'm going to highlight this last word so that, oops, not the whole paragraph. I'm going to highlight this last word, and that way, that will let me annotate or write my own thinking in the margins. So again, who or what? Let's think. After the San Francisco fire, who is our subject? Chinese people. What did they do? As a matter of fact, can we backspace? Instead of Chinese people, let's specify immigrants because they're people from China that are here in the US. So Chinese immigrants did what? Said they were born in, let's say the United States, or we can say San Francisco. Okay, and you just need to remember that San Francisco is in the United States. So who? Chinese immigrants. Did what? Said they were born in San Francisco. Right, and then again, I want you to go ahead and click save so I can see your annotations too. I want you to move on to paragraphs 3 and 4, and I'd like you to practice who is doing what, or what did what. A main idea should be short enough. It shouldn't be a long summary or whole novel. Just answering those two questions. Who is doing what, or what is doing what? Practice with paragraph 3 and 4. Don't forget to click save so that I can see your annotations. And don't forget to go back into Google Classroom and click turn in. I do want you to go ahead and read this fun fact because informational text, one feature in informational text is that it includes true facts. And I want to hear the main idea for this too. Tell me what you learned in this fun fact. Don't forget to watch your other video about your grammar lesson today. Keep up the great work. You're doing amazing. Bye-bye.